My instinct has always been to like be able to have secure, expected, routine income, and that this is the only way I have the ability to like work on my craft. And then that's very practical because those are scheduled in a routine way. I will leave a party or an event early because I have to get up early. That's something that seems like people don't do in Berlin. Like, oh, I actually have to go. You know what I mean? It's it's like taking what you have, you're taking your schedule, taking what responsibilities that you have that bring you income, and then just like adjusting what you have to do and saying like, okay, I have to be here, I have to be there. They're equally as important, so I will make that time. I will pop into a shoot and be there for an hour and go, still in makeup, or I will come from work, makeup already done because I was doing it as finishing. So it's like I'm willing to within my work routine um, try to use that to go to whatever I need to and do whatever I need to. Um, but then with the other things, I think it could be more difficult because, say, if you have like three, let's just say five bookings in a month. One's a musical performance, my original music. One's a spoken word performance with a group or an ensemble, and three are DJ gigs. Uh, for the spoken word and ensemble gigs, that means it's very likely that I have rehearsals, more than one rehearsal. And scheduling those rehearsals ends up with this same sort of thing with everyone involved has to figure out when they're free. And then I basically had to go and like squeeze that time in. August was probably the most booked that I've ever been. And that's not necessarily to say like, oh, like I'm like booked and blessed, but as a matter of like the physical schedule being filled up the entire month. And I think it became like stressful where in every single moment that I had to relax, I had to think about a rehearsal. And then I had to think about going to work. And then I had to think about, okay, when I leave my house now, that means I actually have to leave for like the whole time. So I have to leave to go to this thing and that thing. It's not like I can go here and come back. So that actually started to become stressful. And I started to see that one of the reasons it was really stressful is that amount of work didn't seem to reflect my financial state at the time. I think a lot of us who do these jobs that have require rehearsals like really feel that when like you have to take time out of your schedule, you have to buy a train ticket or not buy a train ticket to go to this thing that's important for this other thing, and you literally are not able to like really say, well, I'm going to skip the rehearsal now because this could compromise the whole job that is part of your income. I think I've always been like a creative multitasker. From a creative standpoint, I actually thought that uh, the rehearsals and stuff, preparing for gigs, was actually some of the best experiences I had as an artist because the process was really enlightening. The process was really like a nice thing to be a part of. I bonded with a lot of other artists and performers through these rehearsals, through preparing, through critiquing each other's stuff and trying each other's stuff out. And that was actually one of the best experiences for me about the rehearsals. But the reality of it was that they were also difficult things to schedule around my work and gig schedule, and sometimes difficult because of the financial reality that um, this is like free time you're giving. And I would just like hope that as I'm working, that at least what I'm doing now, what the people around me are doing now, gets the attention of people who will fund further projects, because I don't think any of us are like working to just like stagnate. We want to broaden our messages. We want to produce how we give our messages in bigger, grander ways. We want to travel with them. We want to go in bigger spaces so we can talk to more people at once. We want to be able to do more stage effects, more costumes, more any of these things that will like make the production more magical. And we need to be taken care of to be able to give our message the way we want to. So I hope that my peers who are work, my contemporaries, people who will come after me, people who have done stuff. I just hope this work is leading towards greater opportunities to be more comfortable. And I think maybe that's also a part of why we do continue to like work within these difficult spaces and conditions, because we are trying to build something that, like, even if we're not getting paid now, you can't take away the legacy of what we're doing. And it's kind of actually coming from some of the things I started to like tell myself in this process of like understanding, okay, there is too much, can be too much work. And when it's overtime that's not paying you and you have to worry about your train ticket to do stuff that you need for income, it's like, yeah, maybe say no sometimes. Like, you can have less gigs and still like make okay money and still build your brand by doing the right gigs.